Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today I'm dealing with a serious rod issue, so let me show you what's going on. I have this door and really bad shape. And so what I'm going to do, I tried digging a lot of this rod away, thinking of different ways to patch it. And what I've come up with is I put together this board and I'll create or cut out a new bottom piece. And because I don't have this profile to match, I think the best thing to do is cut this off, square it up, and just create a butt joint on this side. And then on this side, I'll come over here. Need to come back far enough so that I'm in some solid wood. Maybe cut back along here and put a new vertical piece in here, and we'll see how it goes. What I'm going to do is measure from my butt end a ½ inch past here, create a mortise and tendon, and so what I need is 24 inches. Well, there wasn't quite enough material to make the rail and the stile out of this one board, so I've glued together another piece. I'll mill that down to shape, and then we'll be ready to do some cutting. For those of you that may not be familiar with the machine I'm about to use, this is a Shopsmith Mark V, and it's got a shaper attachment that runs off the motor. It's a pretty neat setup. I have not used it for probably over 20 years when I made some rails and stiles. This particular bit isn't the sharpest in the box, but it's the only profile I have that's even close, so we're going to run it. The next thing I need to do is cut a 1/4 inch wide slot, just a little more than a ½ inch deep, to accept the panel. Got to chip away these corners with the 45-degree miter. Got to flip this over and do the other side. I believe the rot problem is because of this. These panels are put together with 3 pieces of wood, and so we're going to have to fix those joints. Okay, time to cut the groove. One of the additional projects I had to work on was getting rid of the rot that was on the bottom side of this panel. So I used a taper jig and cut off a piece, glued on a new piece, and hand planed and sanded it down. So the piece I need to put in here is not exactly square, so I'm going to measure what those distances are. It's almost a little over 3 3/8 here. And down at the base, about 3½ inches. And then I can draw a line. And that should be what we need. Okay, we're going to be joining this with biscuits. So what I'm going to be doing is marking center lines. And then we'll be able to cut the biscuits. Now we need to adjust the cut for the next set. So I'm going to lower this down. And tighten it. Okay, what I'm going to do now is pre-drill 3 holes with some 2½ inch screws. All that racket you hear is a house being constructed behind me. I have a doweling jig here I'm going to be using for the first time. My first hole I can't get back in where I want it because I can't drill parallel due to this. So I'm going to try right here. We'll do one here. Just in case, I'll put one here. We'll see if we can match this up with the other piece. Because of the rabbit in here, I think we're just going to be stuck with using these 2 holes. Give it a shot. I've done a dry fit just to see how things are looking. And once I tap that up in there, I think everything will be good. What I'm going to do is use liquid nails on these joints, and that'll fill up any little voids. doesn't want to really flow very well. So I'll probably go back here and hit that with a putty knife, spread it out. That's looking pretty good. I'll put some glue in here. And get this piece installed, have a clamp to pull it together. Give us a good tight fit. Get that glue spread out. Okay, now we can slide this piece up in place. Put some glue in the holes. Add a few taps. So what I'm going to do is put a clamp here. So that when I put my first screw in, it'll be lined up and that'll get any twists out of the board. And then we'll move the clamp down here. And that feels lined up. And one more screw. And then I'll come back with a chisel and deal with that. And might put some more glue in here as well. There, we see a little bit of glue squeeze out. I'm going to put the clamping pressure on it. And I think that'll be pretty nice once we sand it and paint it. So while the glue is drying, I'm just going to be shaping some of these corners to get the profile close to what it needs to be. And then that'll be ready for painting. So I have some filler here. Try to get that in there. And then I can mold that kind of to the profile. That's looking pretty good. This is pretty easy to do just by using fingers. It looks pretty good. So right now I'm going to even up the bottom, and I'm going to put a short extension on. And before we figure out that extension, we'll just cut this off. Alright, we're going to put a bottom extension on. Do the same thing with some construction adhesive. I'll hit that with the putty knife. And I'll deal with any squeeze out. Put a little bit of pressure on to get it started. And then we'll go to the other end, get a clamp on it. And we'll get one in the middle. What I'm going to do is have this top edge stick out just a little bit, and I'm going to make a drip edge out of that. So I have to cut a slight taper on here, and I'm going to just freestyle this thing, see how it goes. So we're going to start the painting, and I'm pretty sure that this raw wood is going to need 2 coats of paint. Coverage just isn't going to quite do it on the first coat. So we'll do as many coats as we need to do, and then I'll show you the finished project. This project has taken about a week. Trying to paint one side at a time. It's just kind of slow. Getting the first pin in can always be a little difficult with the weight. Put one in at the bottom. And then we'll tap all 3 of these down. Well, that'll do it for this project from the homestead. I hope you've liked it. If you have, please consider giving it a thumbs up, like and subscribe for the next video, and we hope to see you again. Thanks for watching.